Ladies and gentlemen, those between and those far out, longtime viewers and newcomers alike, welcome back to the Idaho Esports Twitch channel. My name is Kaz, joined here in the booth today by Spirit. It is a Thursday evening, and unlike last week, we are here to deliver our regularly scheduled broadcast content. Tonight, our Overwatch varsity team is up against Stockton University, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun throughout the regular season with Idaho ending up their season 6-1, 7-1. Only taking that one loss and probably the one loss 0-3 and then probably only losing two other maps throughout the series. So they had a very good, solid, dominant season. And the last week, as you mentioned, we did win by a forfeit and had that fun little GeoGuessr tournament come through. But today starts round one of playoffs here against Stockton. And it sounds like there was a lot of excitement in the building when these games were happening. So only time will tell what the results will be and how they are, because obviously these games are not live. We're getting re-recorded through replay codes because Rocket League was on earlier, which if you caught that, they did pick up a dominant 4-0 victory over Rochester to advance into their playoffs.
Super cool. Love to hear that Rocket League is doing well. And there are other leagues that they're participating in as well, for sure. In the case of Overwatch, obviously first week of playoffs, there's a lot of excitement built around that. Just generally in the fans that exist here in the labs and the players themselves. I'm sure that they're anticipating this run to be a little bit deeper than the team has gone in previous seasons, and that is more of a testament to the culmination of work that the players have been putting in to practice in VOD and refine their skills as a team and individually as well, to be able to get this point. This team, these players have gone through a lot, especially this season, which even if it did look comfortable, similar players on this roster would not have performed as strongly in prior seasons. So it's very awesome to see how they have grown, how they have developed, and hopefully we're going to see an awesome performance out of them tonight, Spirit.
I think so. The communication and the friendship that they've grown throughout this regular season has really shown and reflected in-game as well, with them just being able to know what they want to do, get the strats they're looking for, and just pick up this momentum to lead straight into where they are right now, starting off in the playoffs.
First map of the series is going to be Samoa, as per usual. I feel like we don't see things change up too often on that front. Has it ever not been Samoa?
No, it's been Samoa literally every single first map.
Every single first map that we've done has been Samoa, which is fine. I like Samoa. Samoa is one of my favorite control maps in the game. So I'm always happy to see it on the server. And as for how things are going, hearing that the bans are Reaper and Hazard. I'm assuming Reaper coming out of Idaho and Hazard coming out of Stockton. Hazard, a very useful part of the Vandals comp on Samoa. Goes to show like the kind of competition that you're walking into on these playoff runs, right? You're already having teams that have done their research. And of course that was the same situation with like one of the last games that we streamed before the forfeit. But, it's important to know, right?
Absolutely. I like seeing Brawler pull out the Junker Queen because he did have some success on the Junker Queen in this map before. But normally he runs the Hazard. So they're already running the perfect Brawl comp right now. It'll be interesting to see how the Junker Queen plays against this Reinhardt. But Brawler's already ready to pick this off with one elimination off the axe. Following it, or the dagger, following it up with another axe. The Ana is going to get healed right back on up. But Vandals applying amazing pressure to push Stockton back. Sandman's going to find one more onto LBN.
A very great collaborative effort to finish off that first fight, gain first flip for the Vandals here. I saw some very curious movement as well, and I'm still seeing some from Maeve going for this very interesting duel into Sandman on the Cassidy. You do see OKB88 mirroring the Cassidy. You can see Stockton's comp, which the names are swapped on the HUD, I'd like to point out, but production will get to that at some point. But you can see in Stockton's comp, their goal is kind of just to play a pokey neutral, right? You have Ryan kind of just being the wall for the rest of the team, while OKB88 tries to get some damage out, tries to get some picks. So far, the plan has not been working, mostly with the help of Widowfang's Venture and the knives coming out of Isaac. Whatever, I'm just doxing live stream again. We're at that point of the week already.
Real aggressive push there as they push them all the way back to spawn, picking up 3 eliminations with them. 50% on the objective, and not a single Vandal has fallen once yet.
I mean, this is going pretty textbook, at least in the way that you would have expected the Vandals to see it. The last time that they had to play Samoa, the last time we streamed, they had that Hyzer ban and were not quite equipped to deal with it. So we're seeing a very different performance out of the team today. Hopefully going a little bit better. Obviously, this Nano Shatter is finding 3 for LBN. A fight not well finished, and Widowfang hiding in enemy territory. Is going to be the flip for Stockton, but not a map lost. Not quite yet for the Vandals.
I racked it up all the way to 80%. Widowfang did not want to leave that fight empty-handed. Trying to get back to the objective, does get spotted by Stockton, spammed out just a little bit, but Vandals are returning fire of their own on a nade here. Taking this high ground approach off the top of the building to just come and bombard Stockton University right here on the objective, forcing them to kind of fall back, push for a spawn. Graviton, Orbital Ray is on point, but Sandman and Brawler find 1 each. As Widowfang looks to keep up the aggression onto Reinhardt, gets the dash, tries to go underground, but Magic Turtle's there to finish the job. Trades are coming across oh my goodness, everywhere. Sandman does pick up a high noon onto OKB. Sandman finding 1 more onto the Tracer. That's going to be a quick recap coming in from Idaho.
A very nice turnaround with not a lot of ults exchange. You really only saw the Rampage and the Deadeye come out from the Vandals. Something that you can kind of tell was very coordinated, very calm. They went into that thing knowing we're only really going to have to use this to get back on the point, and it worked, right? As for this case, you see some of Stockton trying to move on with the help of that ring. You see May swapping off of the Tracer and onto the Sojourn for the double hit scan, getting some good backline pressure, forcing the Lucio and Cassidy off points for the Vandals. But it doesn't seem like everything is out yet. They do get the nade and the Suzu to save them, and now LBN is stuck between the Lucio and Widowfang, who has been pretty lethal to their attempts to actually put any offense on the Vandals for most of these fights, right? Lots of things going on. The Boostio out. The Shatter out as well, and only finding Widowfang, but LBM is on a quarter of his life and is not going to live to see the day where his team gets the flip. That's going to be first point to the Vandals in map 1 here.
Yeah, they're off that. That was a very long and extended fight with bodies trading back and forth all over the place. And at the beginning there, I kind of thought Idaho dropped the ball because Brawler was taken down really low, and they were forced to drop beat super early into that fight, and that caused another 2 Vandals to fall because they didn't have the beat to save them. But then Sandman came and turned it right back around and did everything they could just to extend the fight, finish off Stockton, and secure the objective.
Something that I do have to acknowledge from Stockton is how late that Tracer swap came, right? You can kind of tell that Maeve was having very minimal impact on the game on that Tracer. Was able to do some things, was able to kind of put some pressure on the Widowfang, but not enough to really turn things for Stockton. Again, at least not in a way that was incredibly impactful for them. So swapping to the Sojourn is good, but had they done it a little bit earlier, it may have swayed their tides for the last point. But doesn't matter. All in the past now. Moving on to the second point. The coconut point, as I like to call it. Widowfang already found an early pick, and though he is traded, it's already putting a little bit of heat on the Stockton. They are in the advantage in terms of position because they can kind of just back up onto the point while the rest of the Vandals have to walk into them. But it doesn't really seem like that's deterring them too much. Though LBN finds 2, it's going to be Sandman trying to find another 2. The Lucio diff coming out, the barely 200 HP Reinhardt on the point with the help of Lucio and Mafe to try and push everybody off, keep that percentage going for Stockton.
Whoops, Widowfang all alone there, forced to flee, and now they're diving in deep, trying to find the Vandals at their spawn point. At least block them off from at least getting towards the objective just yet. Idaho does regroup here on the left side. Peeking around the corner, looking to try and fling in some damage, but LBN is coming in real close. Ready to swing the hammer down to anyone who steps his way.
Yeah, I mean, this next fight is really about the supports playing a neutral long enough to be able to build their ultimates. We're still really far from that beat. And we're still a considerable distance away from the Kitsune rush, right? We're kind of sitting at the disadvantage here while Stockton is much more prepared to counter anything. maybe not for long enough. They're already down a man thanks to kunai thrown by me. That's Brawler going to be finding the second one, weakening Stockton's numbers. And 1 by 1, this team is going to fall on the point. It's going to be the mid-map or mid-point flip here for the Vandals. Only about 65 for Stockton. And not a lost fight. They have a lot of ults to be able to work with for these next couple fights. You really just have to consider how they're going to be played and what the Vandals could be doing to anticipate them.
Yeah, Idaho's just going to have a Kitsune rush coming up here, but that's not going to be whole enough to step down 4 ultimates as we see the hammer come down, choke up the Vandals as OK88 and Fred are able to take one. Widowfang not going down empty-handed though. Another high noon's going to come out, find me, and LBN's going to pin Brawler back to spawn. Widowfang left alone once again, trying to flee underground as fast as possible.
Yeah, it was unfortunate that Widowfang wasn't really set up before that fight really broke out. They were kind of spending a lot of the mid-fights rotating, could not help their team a lot. When that rush came up to try and keep Brawler and Meat, and I believe Sandman as well, up in that fight, there just was not a lot that they could do in the 3v5 that they were facing. About 90% on the board now. You're going to see a little bit of contestment. A very nice silver bullet onto OKB88 is going to stop Stockton in their tracks very suddenly. You're also seeing the overclock come out for Maith as well, getting shut down by Brawler. And though Stockton hits that 99% mark, the Vandals are able to flip it back to keep themselves alive on the point.
Yeah, reclaiming the objective just in the nick of time. Trying to keep the aggression right back up and chase Stockton back to their spawn. Now they're going to go back to their own. Find ways to regroup here in the neutral.
It is important to note that Stockton does have their beat up. It's going to be good counterplay into a Rampage that Brawler may engage with. Also having that Suzu down could be great things for Stockton. It's just able to absolutely topple this team. And though the Rampage did come out, again, that counter beat to be able to play against it did not allow the Vandals any room to breathe. It just allowed Stockton to completely collapse against them, secure that second point for them here in Map 1 Samoa.
Yeah, map is now tied 1 apiece for each team right now. Got to go to a tiebreaker to decide who's going to get the first point on the board.
And here we are, Volcano. I think the permanent cycle of I see this map, either City Center and then Coconut Point, or Coconut Point and then City Center, and then here to Volcano, last point of the map typically. Maybe I've seen Volcano as second a couple times, but it's always typically been the last point of the map that we watch, either to confirm somebody's 2-0 or to finish off best 3.
That is very true. Pop the TP out to let the Idaho run straight to the base. Gonna meet Stockton right here on the objective. Wait for the charge in, able to land a knife onto the Sojourn here. Rotates around, decides to peek in left and right. Sandman stayed on the high ground, looking to poke out a little bit more damage. Lands one nice dink. Suzu's gonna take that right away though.
A little bit of damage being traded between the hit scans here. Brawler is a little bit in, but doesn't seem too bothered. A lot of damage onto LBN, and though somehow the enemy cast does survive, the rest of the team does not. It'll be 4 kills down, now 5 for Stockton. The late team kill, but still coming out. And the first cap onto the Vandals. Very similar to how we saw the first point kind of play out.
Yeah, it does seem that way. This map has been a lot closer than most of Idaho's regular season that we've seen them play against. A lot more competitive in nature. That's what playoffs will do to you.
Absolutely. You're playing all the players from all the groups in your division here. I believe, top 4 from each group, I believe is how the playoff bracket works. I did miss it a little bit, Brawler and Cass, and now Magic Turtle fell pretty early in that fight. It's going to allow for 8-point flip for Stockton. Didn't really see any ults get used there. Mostly Stockton just fighting to build their own, most of which they have. They have that Deadeye up online, the rush very soon. As for the Vandals, they really need to figure out what to anticipate Stockton playing first. And usually their fight plan is based around that shatter, right? Once that shatter is up, LBN's going to look for an opportunity to pummel a couple of teammates, and then Stockton collapses around them. And if that Rampage happens to be up first, you're probably going to see that beat. Right now, you're seeing the Deadeye come out from Sandman. It's currently blocked by the big Rhine shield in front of his face. And the counter Deadeye from Stockton that is going to find the Lucio. LBN going to find Brawler as well, just to keep tossing the Vandals down. Meat is going to find the TP out, but you're going to see the really late shatter just to keep them from getting back to spawn for a little bit longer. Stagger the fight, make it take a little bit longer for the Vandals to restabilize, and just let the percentage timer roll on up for Stockton.
Yeah, already sitting about 65. Match Vandals 35. It's neck and neck right now. Let's see who can control this objective. Vandals are back and ready to push. Gonna go and throw down the Kitsune Rush to start this fight off, but Brawler's gonna get pinned right away. Widowfinks in the backline, popping the excavation, does find Fred with it. Finds a Kiriko in the backline, looks to dive down deep. Gonna force him to carry Suzu themselves. Sandman there to finish the job as he gets one more on the knife. This lone Cassidy's here on point, and Widowfink's going to drill him back to spawn once again. Team kill coming in from Idaho. They reclaim the objectives. 88% is what Stockton racked up.
Very well played from Idaho. And again, this is what I was kind of pointing out in the second point that caused the Vandals to have lost that point, is that Widowfink wasn't set up to take a fight. Right? A big ult exchange broke out. He wasn't there to be able to help his team, and it was just forced to have the rest of his team back up or either die. Unfortunately, this is a similar situation now. The Vandals gave up a little bit too much space when that OC came up, but you're seeing the Rampage come out and the beat response from Stockton to try and keep themselves alive. You're still seeing a lot of damage onto the side of Stockton, but even more onto the side of Brawler is going to be falling first in that fight. It's going to be a flip for Stockton. Kills for Stockton, 94% for Stockton. Only Sandman and Magic Turtle left alive, and if that Lucio is allowed to stay alive, he's going to have to fight for a touch, but he's not going to be able to get it. Booped off just a second before he could get there. It's going to be the first map for Stockton in the first round playoff series against the Vandals.
What a game one is all I can say. If this is how close game one was, imagine the set we are in for.
Oh, absolutely. And it never really seemed like either team was really out of it for a map. You know, you saw the one series earlier on that the Vandals had lost Samoa, and I believe it was 2-0. Or if it was full 3 maps, it didn't seem like a very convincing showing from the Vandals, at least from memory, right? But you're seeing how they play today, how much more comfortable that they are with that hazard band and being having to force themselves onto the Junker Queen, right? Knowing how to coordinate these ults better, knowing how to play off of each other to find these fight wins in tough situations. Again, it's a sign of a team that has grown significantly to be able to play at this level.
Absolutely, especially with having your tank's main band get right off the bat. It does force that flexibility that you have to come and push out. As they weren't able to take the win, but they did have a strong showing for it. But it was really awesome to see a Reinhardt come out, because we haven't seen much Reinhardt at all during this regular season. And not only did Reinhardt come out, he showed up too. Did everything he could, landing the perfect shatters, landing all the right swings and the fire strikes and everything. But it looks like next we're going to be jumping to Blizzard World. It's not King's Row, with Sojourn and Wu Yang being our bands.
That's 2 series that we've casted now where King's Row has not been second map finally. The last one that we did, it was Esperanza, I believe. That was second map, and then third map was King's Row.
The third map was King Row, that's right.
But today, we're getting some Blizzard World action. Blizzard World, a map I am very commonly known for hating on, but a very unique one out of the hybrid pool, and at least is a breath of fresh air from the London skies I am used to seeing.
That is very true. I think it's one of the most beautifully designed maps in the game. I have fun playing on it, but it doesn't have the best choke points and whatnot.
I feel like this is a map that just has a lot of history with the game as well. It's like it seems kind of narcissistic in a way for a games developer to create a whole map that's based off their other IPs. It's kind of like a Space Jam thing going on, but
it's true.
You really do have to give credit to just how seemingly in place Blizzard World is in the entire universe of Overwatch.
That's true. I remember when this map came out. It looks like we're kind of sticking with a similar comp for both sides right now. We are going to both pull out the Widowmaker and immediately start off with a Widow diff as Sandman gets dinked away. Finding some pokes on the Brawler on the Winton. But he has the support here to help him right back up. And Stockton just buried their way right onto the objective. Already got one takedown. Idaho does not have much contention there because they already lost one of their DPSs less than 5 seconds into the map. And there goes Brawler 2 getting fire striked away. Oh, what a boop coming in from Fred as Meat gets knocked off the map. And what a capture. Almost 6 minutes to go ahead and push this payload. Widowfang, what are you doing?
Getting staggered. Back to Area 3 spawn. Very, very unfortunate. I will say that that is something that Widowfang has had some trouble with. I think in general as a player, but definitely in this series, of just not dying.
Yeah.
You know, a fight will be lost and they're last alive, and by the time they die, they're staggered and puts their team at a disposition where they can't really fight out of that, at least for a good little bit until something happens. And that's going to be something that they really have to think about as they play this second area. A lot of Blizzard World's second area is really just controlling this high ground, which is a lot easier to do with the Monkey, right, with Brawler here. Not something that OBN can contest with very well. They have to kind of make big rotates off the point to be able to contest that high ground. But even then, doesn't really seem like Stockton feels very pressured. You do see the dive onto the Kiriko, who was a little bit low, was able to use their Suzu and TP to get out, and that's going to be Widowfang on the Sombra now actually falling to LBN and making numbers worse for the Vandals.
Now the Tracer is getting a lot more util here than it was on Samoa. Good position. Oh, what a hack out of dash. It was great positioning there, though, to go and harass the Idaho on the high ground. Pick up 2 eliminations while they're at it. Get the backline out of here. Brawler's going to find one on the Fred to keep the aggression up. Diving on the Kiriko. No TP that time. Nice 2K coming in for Brawler. Jiggle peeking around this cart here to not get headshot by the Widowmaker. Does take a little bit of damage for it, but Sandman's going to find LBN and force OK88 to go on back.
Oh, he messed up the zip. That's awful. You do see the boop and the Suzu come out from Ferd and Getaway Car. That's a cool username, Getaway Car. Yeah. It kind of perfectly describes Kiriko as well.
True. Ooh, that's not what you want to see if you're a Sombra there, but it's absolutely the most satisfying feeling in the world if you're a Lucio.
Oh, yeah. To be able to get a pick like that on a flex, just trying to set up for a later fight. Obviously, you're trying to get that Mega away from them. Oh. Rough.
The pulse bomb and the beat drop here to counter the high noon.
You pretty much only saw the rush and the noon come out from the Vandals, and that was responded promptly with 4, actually. I think the Shatter was the engage. You saw the beat as a response to the Deadeye. I think Stockton had that rush out as well, and obviously the pulse to cancel the Deadeye. So not a great ultimate exchange, but Stockton did win the fight. They're having a pretty good time in that time bank right now, about 4:30 to push through this last area. One that I would argue is suited much better for ground tanks like Reinhardt or Orisa, right? Kind of just able to lane your way through a lot of these things. But if you're able to counter that Widow, who has been doing a lot of pressure onto your team and is making it very hard to go for a lot of these setups that your team has been going for before, maybe it would be a bad time, actually. Maybe it would be like Kings Row 3rd area, where you just like stop them at this first corner and then they can't really move after that.
That is true. I would like to note, Sandman swapping on over to Bastion. That is a pick we have not seen happen yet.
No.
Interested to see what the reasoning is behind this. Maybe you're just trying to melt the Reinhardt shield and help your team get more aggression going. Oh, Meef doing the Tracer things just like they should. Finding Widowfang there in the back lines.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough thing for Widowfang to have to consider playing around, right? You know, as Sombra, with a Tracer on the enemy team, you just know that you're going to be perma-marked. Their whole job is to run you down, and if they're not doing anything else but running you down, you're in for a hell of a lot of trouble. Just like the rest of Stockton here as this Primal Rage comes out from Brawler. Again, these good juggles, and even though Getaway Card does have that TP, is seeing a little bit of a Korean Primal. You can see that Brawler definitely has been doing those primal exercises, those shuttle exercises. He's figuring it out.
Yeah, and even when primal goes away, still takes LBN out with them.
Is going to be a lot of time lost here for Stockton. Now moving down to about 3 minutes. 2:52 to be exact. 82.59 meters to have to push through, and just losing time consistently. Seems like the Vandals much better suited to play this comp, but you're also having OKB swap to the Reaper to fight against the Bastion, and the Venture, it seems, that Widowfang has swapped to. He's going to stay alive. I believe I did hear Shatter come out from LBN, which is maybe taking out Brawler? No, Brawler's alive. He's trying to stay up in the fight, but you're also seeing the B come out from Ferd as well. I mean, it is just a hard time for the Vandals to keep themselves up in this situation. Too much damage going out onto Brawler and the rest of the team. And that is going to be the rest of that point finish. Getaway Car just ulting on the point just to, you know, make the cart go faster.
Didn't even need that ult to win the fight. Might as well drop it.
Yeah. Big shouts. A much better performance, admittedly. Even having won the first map, Stockton just seemed so much more comfortable. Maeve getting so much more done on the Tracer, as well as Ferd, right, who was able to find these picks here and there in the neutrals to really slow down the Vandals and make things a lot harder to play around.
Absolutely. I think winning a first map can do a lot to your mental and give you a lot of confidence rolling into map 2. And speaking of rolling, they rolled that cart very fast and very well. Still have 2 minutes left on the board. For if Vandals do get 3 points on this objective, they'll have a nice chunk of time. But Idaho did hold them down pretty solidly because it was almost 6 minutes to start and about 4 or 5 minutes once they got to the checkpoint. So they fought their hardest there, but just did not have what it took to counter this Brawl comp and the backlines of the Tracer.
And now it's going to be a situation that the Vandals, on their offense, actually deciding to play more of a Brawl comp instead of the Monkey that they were using before, which does make sense. Right, you're playing into this Rhine. What's the most basic counter to a Reinhardt? A Ramatra.
Pummel.
The real question is, how are they going to be able to use it? Obviously, this Reinhardt playing the high ground, depending on how fast they give up the space, it is really going to make or break how effective a lot of this offense is going to be from the Vandals. Now, you also see Meat on the Mercy, and I don't know if that's just for a first shot for Sandman, or if we're just going to be running the Mercy Lucio.
Let Meat run Mercy. See what he can do here.
I am a little bit concerned about it. But you see something of a plan coming out. Yeah, you see me swapping back to the Kiriko. It was for the first shot Widow that wasn't able to be found in this situation. I think a lot of the pitfall just ended up being on Sandman's Widow in that first/second point where, you know, the insta-pick that just granted Stockton all the space in the world and just not really being able to touch NK or OKB88.
Yeah, not able to match the hit scan there at all for, like we saw. Not even going to try to run the Widowmaker this time around. Meave harassing the Vandals in the backline as Idaho does make their way to the objective. Trying to pummel through this Reinhardt here, but nobody's home to come finish these jobs. Sandman flanking around back once again, attacking Stockton from all these different angles. Does find the pick on the OKB88 to give them this numbers advantage. He's going to find one more on deferred as Brawler does take out LBN. Meef's not going home empty-handed, finding Meat. Widowfang's going to come in and support the support.
It's going to be a point capture for the Vandals. In pretty convincing fashion, I may say. It is to note that Stockton did give up that space pretty well, right? And when you're playing this first point like a normal person, anyway, a lot of it is your enemy team is up on the high ground and you're waiting for one small mistake that forces the rest of the team down so you can kind of just walk on them, right? Because once you lose that high ground control, you're pretty defenseless on your defense, right? And it's the same situation for this second point too. I am curious to see how Stockton is going to play that, considering that, you know, they're a little split up, not really able to play this first point in the way that they may like to. Especially me, who is going to get cut up by the two Symmetra dice.
Tried to drop the bomb onto Widowfang there too, and it did not quite land.
I get it. Neon Tracer, my friend. Neon Tracer. It's going to be Brawler finding Ferd as well. You see a lot of these like split picks coming out from the Vandals, but not the same amount of cart aggression where, you know, Stockton was maybe running 2 or 3 people on cart at a time. Vandals are only keeping 1, but I do like this fight plan better. Because it allows more of the team to kind of walk up, pressure them back so the cart can keep moving with just one person on it.
Oh, just missed blocking that shatter by a hair. And Stockton's going to capitalize off that. Find two. Brawler's going to take LBN out with him. OKB88 here to find the third. Brawler left alone on point right now. 1 HP. Getaway car going to land the kunai. Send Brawler away. They're going to hold off and not let them get to that checkpoint just yet.
Now it's going to be permission for Stockton to be able to watch to this main choke to prevent the Vandals from walking forward. Now being able to set up on the high ground very normally. This time you have the hit scan Mafe moving to Soldier, and OKB88 playing the sniper character, having moved from Ash to the Freya. Honestly, a much better option here.
Idaho going to drop an aggressive teleport and force Stockton to displace their positions as Vandals are able to climb the high ground. Brawler's going to jump on in with Annihilation, trying to keep him up. Sandman is going to take out Getaway card. The Annihilation's going to find LV88. Brawler, LBN, oh my gosh, got their names combined into one. Sandman does take out Meef though. Alone on the point, this lonely Freya is going to get zapped away by Widowfang. Vandals do get to the checkpoint and are keeping the cart rolling. 4 minutes on the clock to secure this round.
I gotta say, you really do have to be happy with how the Vandals are playing this offense compared to how their defensive round went, right? Obviously, it looked like they just got stopped at so many turns, and while they did have some signs of life, it obviously was not the team that we were used to watching, right? Whereas this time, they're on their defense, and they're playing it incredibly textbook. You see the TPs coming out on people who are alone to try and overwhelm them, get these kills off, and no Mafe is going to take out Sandman. He does end up dying. It is what you expect out of a coordinated Symmetra play. You got to be impressed. You really do. I like what I'm seeing here a lot. I'm sure the Vandals do as well. They're making great progress, getting lots of very important kills out. LBN down very early in the fight with the Symmetra wall still up, which is probably going to be pulled out for this last fight. You can see Widowfang kind of playing around the card to prepare to get it up. And boom.
Oh.
No contest on the point whatsoever in the boop to push OKB off to prevent them from touching the point. That is going to be technically a scrim offense win. More time on the time bank for the Vandals on their offensive round versus Stockton.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen a control map or hybrid map go to round 3. Like I was saying in map 1, these games are so much closer and so much more competitive than what we saw during the regular season already, and we're only 1.5 maps in.
Yeah. But obviously it is going to take a lot from the Vandals to be able to push through this. Obviously they have more time on their offensive time bank, but they remember how that defense had gone for them when Sandman was on the Widow, and, you know, they got that first pick and immediately had to give up so much space. You're running a big risk running a Widow on your defense because it's not like, oh, you get your first shot, oh, you miss, you can just go back to spawn.
True.
Right? If your Widow dies, you basically lose. It's your win factor if you're on defense. Whereas this time around, the Vandals aren't choosing to play the Widow. They're actually choosing to play what they played on their offense. So the same Reaper Symmetra, Lucio Kiri that we saw from the last round. I'm curious, though, to see how this comp works with them on the defense. Because obviously we saw the Sim trying to use TPs to overwhelm people who were split up from the team and move around. Maybe we're going to see something a little bit similar, but there's more of a risk that you're taking dropping from your high ground when you're playing that defense, right?
Absolutely. On that note, I think it's so funny seeing how much this game has evolved, because back in 2016, 2017, if you told someone to make more sense to run Widowmaker on attack and Reaper on offense, or Reaper on defense and Widowmaker on offense, they would have laughed in your face. But the game's just gotten to a point where anything can work anywhere.
I mean, if you told me like a year ago that Sim would be hard meta, I would not have believed you. No, I really would not have.
Wouldn't have either. Brawler is going to go ahead and find the first pick, though, onto the Widowmaker.
And LBN.
Knocking him out like he's Mike Tyson.
Ugh. Bar.
Meat said, I don't want it. I'm done with you, Tracer. No more harassing my back line.
Yep. It's a good first fight for the Vandals, but they need to keep it up for another 60 seconds. Not a lot online for Stockton or the Vandals, really. Obviously, there was a lot of damage to be done from the side of Brawler, 65% up to that Annihilation. And Getaway Car up to 68% now on that Kitsune Rush, but Maeve is going to be first down. Not what you want to see. You do see the trade coming out onto Meat from OKB88, but it still doesn't seem like it's enough for Stockton to walk on. Maybe it might be now. Ferd is going to take out Sandman, trying to get some damage out on him. And the Rampage is out for Brawler, who's now on 12 health. Has to play very, very careful, and is 1 pump, 2 pump onto Magic Turtle, 3 onto Widowfang. A fight finally won for Stockton, and who can really say how it's about to progress, right? We're about to go into the OT after this capture. Vandals have that Annihilation up, have the Sim Wall up, are close to the Rush and the Blossom, but it seems like Stockton is much better prepared. They have the beat and have the Rush up already, so whatever the Vandals decide to engage with first, they will have an answer.
That is true. Stockton knows exactly what they're doing on this offense here. They were able to push Idaho pretty solid there, but Brawler's going to find 1 and 2. Sandman getting the dink for the 3rd, keeping the aggression up right here. Not a lot of distance get pushed on this payload, and now that overtime's going to tick on out. But that's still 1 point on the board for Stockton that they didn't have. So they have to hold Idaho down for about 3 minutes here on the single objective alone.
Yeah, back to what I was saying right before the fight broke out. I was saying that the Vandals or Stockton had a response to anything that the Vandals could have engaged with, but I did not account for the Sim Wall. That's not like an offensive ult that you can really respond to that well. If you're just blocked off on the point, that is kind of game, and that's what it was, right?
Yeah.
The Vandals had their ults, they had Blossom, they had Annihilation up, and that was all able to be engaged upon because of that Sim Wall that kept Stockton from being able to fight comfortably on the point. No beat or rush is really going to be able to help you fight around that.
Yeah.
That is true.
So, what you think?
It's crazy. That ultimate can either be, if you drop it perfectly, you just saved your team.
Yep.
But if you can mess that one up real bad, and it's just a waste of a Q.
Me when I fat thumb my wall, and it's the worst wall I've ever thrown ever.
Gotta love when that happens. I love pressing Q when I'm walking out of spawn.
That's why I've changed my ult keybind. I fat thumb my Q like way too often.
That's no fun.
Yeah. But going into this offense now, you're seeing something a little bit different from the Vandals. Obviously walking out of spawn with the Mercy and the Widow once again like they did on their first offense. But they also have the bubble this time around to protect them from taking any damage if they are running the Widow as well. But what's really nice about this first pick Widow is that it's able to get a lot of information for what the enemy team is playing very early on and try and make an early fight plan before you even get to where you want to fight, right? Seems like this time around they're trying to play out of the Mega Room. Very difficult, I would argue, to do so.
Yeah, you're all grouped up there, and Ash can take perfect advantage of that. Get huge charge on the Dynamite, but Widowfang's ready to storm the objective, teleporting his team on there with him. As Stockton is forced to match the aggression and drop down from the high ground, going to track down LBN, get 1 elimination to start the fight off. That's 1 takedown for the Idaho.
Damage.
Oh, Meef got in with 2. Sandman is not letting this Lucio out of his sight, following him forever towards the back line.
He could save it, maybe. He does have the Wraith up and burns it. Okay. The Sudo does. Wait. The Sudo came out too early. That's going to be Sandman. He fights too. He just has to fight against LBN, who's using form too early. But Magic Turtle is there to follow up, get some damage out. The fight is not over yet. LBN burned his form too early, so he doesn't have offensive pressure in this situation. Meanwhile, oh, okay, never mind. Well, Meat's dead.
That was one of the craziest pushes and fights I've seen.
That could have been absolutely insane for the Vandals, and Stockton's still trying to regroup. Though the Vandals are having to back up just a little bit to stabilize because of that early pick on to Meat, it seems like it's not as far gone as it looks on paper.
No, not at all. Still about 70 seconds on the board for Idaho to storm this objective. It's so funny seeing just like, normally whenever you're going to the objective, you get it either all or none. But we've slowly picked up 2 takes for the side of Idaho. And they're just got to try and find this third. Going to trade off Meat and Ferd, getting sent away. Sandman looking to keep the aggression up, but 1 dink's going to send him back too. Me following another one with the Dynamite. LBN's going to pick up Brawler in the little Ramatra dip, leaving Magic Turtle all alone. And 40 seconds on the board for Idaho to push this one.
He's going to get staggered there, too, which is very, very unfortunate for them. But technically, Vandals are up ahead in the ult economy here. The only thing that they really have to be worried about is the Bob. But the Annihilation is probably going to be popped mid-fight. It's going to be really hard for the Vandals to play against as well. Obviously, they only really have that beat to respond with it, too. The rush is not quite there yet. And the sim wall isn't quite there yet, either.
Yeah, not a lot of supportive ultimates here for the fight. Idaho's forced to go ahead and drop the gun and charge the objective. Dueling Annihilations are out. Beat is dropped. Bob's here, too.
Oh, my goodness. On the edge of my seat, a little bit too much damage. That Viper Venom is doing too much for Mafe. Yeah, I mean, kills going out every which way. LBN taking out Meat. Magic Turtle does take out Kiriko. Too much damage. The armor is gone from LBN. Frere does take out Magic Turtle, but there is kind of an opportunity for the Vandals to still take this. But Mafe is still alive. Or Salmon was still alive in the 1v3. Brawler is here taking too much damage with the help of the Bola and Ash. In a very close fight in that round 3 is going to take Stockton 2-0 in this series.
What a first couple of maps so far. Idaho has to reverse sweep if they want to keep their playoff dreams alive. Down 0-2 right now. Stockton pulling out some really nice and close wins. Crazy competitive games coming every which way. Both teams fighting their absolute hearts out.
Wow, my voice is blown. I've already blown my voice. I was not expecting those first 2 maps to be as exciting as they were, which I'm glad. You know, we're in the playoffs now. We're seeing a higher level of competition for both teams. We're seeing the Vandals at the peak of their play, and even if we're losing a lot of these maps, it's not like they're dead, right? There are like very significant signs of life coming out of them. Playing the Ram Symmetra, seeing these star shining moments from each player in any of these fights that they're playing, right? It's even if they're down in this series right now, they are not out. Obviously, again, it's going to take a lot out of them to be able to come back out. A reverse sweep, as it is known. But we are still going to be here to keep you through all the action. I'm getting word from production right now that the third map in this series is going to be Suravasa with a Junker Queen ban from the side of the Vandals. Or
Stockton, probably.
Maybe a side of Stockton.
Yeah.
And a Freya ban from the side of the Vandals, which makes sense. I mean, once OKB88 was allowed to be on that Freya, it was just a wraps for the Vandals. They are a very talented hit scan when they have to run that double hit scan, and it is very, very hard to touch them, as the Vandals have learned. So being able to get that out, especially on a map like Suravasa with long sight lines, really hard to push a Freya playing deep in a team's core, doing damage to your team.
Yeah, she seems like she's been a very dominant pick for a more recent character added to the game. Speaking of recent characters, did you see the Vendetta trailer that came out today?
Yes, I did.
Got Magic and Overwatch.
I mean, the Japanese have been in this game since the game's release, so...
Oh, no, I meant like Magic from Marvel Rivals.
Oh! I was like, yeah, Magic's been in the game for a while.
No, yeah. I should have clarified that. But she looks like a lot of fun. It'd be nice having a melee DPS character.
Again.
Yeah.
Now, this first neutral going pretty swivelingly for Stockton, having good point control, making some good damage and pressure onto Widowfang, who's not really able to set up with their team. You're seeing Brawler here on the ball, which you saw them come out on the overtime for the touch, but now trying to keep things alive in Suravasa. Technically something that should give them the advantage playing into that Reinhardt, but it just seems like some parts of Stockton have been impossible for the Vandals to push through. And it's really hard to pinpoint that from a spectator perspective, just because I'm watching like 5 million different things and really can't figure out what it is specifically, right?
Yeah. Vandals trying to keep the point alive, but too many have fallen. Stockton is going to stagger Magic Turtle out just a little bit, leaving Brawler all alone, this lonely hamster running around the point. Getaway Car's going to get the Curie diff onto Meat. Widowfang finds the trade onto Getaway Car, though, but Ferd's going to pick Widowfang up for it. Brawler was able to escape and run back home to his friends and get on that hamster wheel for more energy to re-amp for the next fight.
But the rest of Stockton's still trying to mark this ball. He's the only person who can start a touch in this late of the point, right? We're getting into 95% for Stockton now. And someone has to get this touch for the Vandals to be able to keep their dreams alive on the point. And it has to be the ball, right? That ball is going to die. We're also going to see the beat come out as a response for no reason, mind you. Maybe we saw a Deadeye come out, but the Deadeye died so fast. That beat was kind of just wasted from the side of Stockton.
It does seem that way, but they did have a very dominant hold on the objective there. Idaho wasn't even able to get a touch on to even try to capture. They kept the aggression up perfectly and knew when to hunker down and where to fight.
Now we're moving into the second point. Temple, I believe, is what it's called. Or Fountain. I think it's Fountain. I don't remember the names anymore. I'm out of touch.
I've also just... There's a nice fountain there in the middle.
Yeah, that would make sense. Or the Four Corners point.
Oh,
see the Shatter coming out. The barrier was a little bit too much behind, but it seems like Brawler was going to have to take that for his team. You've seen the Tectonic Shock come out as well, taking out Getaway Car and forcing the rest of Stockton to move away from the point. See LBN trying to find a pin to keep himself alive, to be able to stabilize the rest of Stockton, but it isn't going to work out. That's going to be OKB88 also falling in first capture, granted to Stockton. Or, I'm sorry, the Vandals.
One of the teams.
One of the teams. And Mafe shut down very early, still trying to get some damage off in the backlines of the Vandals. But right now, Stockton is still looking to engage. Right now, they have that rush that they could play offensively with the help of the Blossom as well, but it may take a while until they're able to feel comfortable enough to do that. Seems like most of these fights, again, have really been started by LBN with a Shatter or a pin, which makes sense. You know, that's the kind of engagement that you're looking for a ride.
Dropped the Blossom, but it wasn't able to pick up anyone as Brawler was able to block it off while Magic Turtle finished the job. Sandman's going to go ahead and find one more. Try to fight back to the point as someone was there trying to get it back up. LBN sits super low. Brawler able to pummel right on through.
That is a feels bad man moment for LBN.
Poor Getaway Car.
Who unfortunately pinned into a wall and left himself absolutely useless in the end of that fight, while the rest of his team was dying to that rush engage anyway. Stockton now on the support advantage, 69% onto the beat, and that rush already online, as well as the climbing percentage for the Shatter and the Pulse now hitting online. Not exactly sure what the fight plans are going to be for Stockton. Maybe looking to hold ults, maybe looking to engage off that rush since Meat already used it.
If looking to run on in, does have Pulse Bomb ready. Forced to fall back, does Idaho does regroup and has Mook's number here. We rotate down to the objective where Idaho's already here. Getaway Car ready to go ahead and drop the Kitsune Rush. Did Meat drop one of his own?
Yeah.
I heard the, yeah.
Oh, no. It was Getaway Car.
It was just Getaway Car, okay. I swore I heard it twice.
And you're seeing a lot of damage pretty much for free onto LBN from Salmon, who's kind of just standing behind the Reinhardt, beating down that overhealth from the Lucio P. Also see the Shatter come out to say sit to Brawler, who was popping that Annihilation in that last fight, but overall still going to be up and surviving.
Yeah, pretty solid ult exchange coming in from both sides so far. Idaho is going to come into this next fight with the advantage, almost having beat, and they do have the Death Blossom ready to go.
And mind you, even though the Tectonic Shock and the Annihilation were used in that last fight, because of the way that Getaway Car used their ult and not just mirrored Meat's rush, it means that Meat is going to be closer to the rush than Getaway Car, and putting the Vandals in an advantage with this portal.
Widowfang finding one early pick on the Ferg. Sandman following it up with the Reaper trade. Oh, but Widowfang's going to get caught with his pants down and pinned away. Magic Turtle does find a nice little boop as Brawler and Sandman finish up the team kill.
Yeah, Magic Turtle has been caught a couple times pre-burrow by pins or Rhine swings or just LBN in general, right? Definitely a little bit of feels bad, man. I do get it.
W Sideburns and W Meat 113055 in the chat.
Now, obviously, you have the form coming out from Brawler, who doesn't have Annihilation up, so is going to have to work really, really hard to keep their team alive. Do see the Blossom coming out from OKB88. Isn't really going to find anything, but Ferd is going to find a couple of his own, and with the help of the rest of the team. Obviously, LBN's going to fall. Ferd's taking a while to fall, but does eventually, and that's going to be 2 points now granted to the Vandals, taking the lead in this Suravasa game.
One more objective, and Idaho keeps their playoff dreams alive. 2 more for Stockton, and they can end it right here and advance. Still anyone's game.
Absolutely. But again, the Vandals, I think, seeming a little bit more disciplined with their support ults. Not really going on an engage, just waiting to respond to another ult by using a support ult. Obviously, Widowfang is dying pretty early in this fight, so it's not going to be easy for the Vandals to set up. But they still have the beat up, they still have the rush up, and Ferd is dying. Basically with beat. Ferd is dying basically with beat. There's no response that Stockton has to anything. So that's Annihilation is coming out basically for free. That's going to be LBN dying. You see... No, that was pretty much it. That was the only ult that came out. You did see the beat and the rush come out, which means that Stockton now has their ults up. Just because, you know, they needed to keep their team alive while Widowfang was coming back to the fight.
Widowfang's going to come back, though, with almost another excavation once again.
And even you've also been seeing Sandman and Widowfang playing amongst each other a lot, holding corners and just waiting for somebody to punish. That could mean that a Blossom is much closer than a lot of people think.
Both support outs coming out from Stockton here. Trying to keep their team up, and it works as Ferd's able to run down and take Sandman away. Neef's going to find a second onto Widowfang. The fight's still breaking out here on the point. Idaho is racking it up to about 60% here. Not ready to drop it just yet. And it looks like they are ready to go ahead and drop it right now.
Just enough people had died now. And they're still trying to walk with it. Obviously, Brawler is forming out, but they're trying to walk him out of this choke as much as they can. Especially with Sandman overextending just a little bit there. Very unfortunate. That percentage is going to be climbing onto this second or fourth point for the map. Currently, Stockton is a little bit behind on the support ults. You have Meat 70% now on that rush, and the Brawler still working on that tank ult.
Sandman has his Beyblade ready, though. Vandals are going to charge right into the objective. Start poking out LBN a little bit. And then
2K Deadeye.
Getaway car finding one more, though. Okay, 88 going to get the triple.
It's a very unfortunate situation. Vandals in one fight territory for this point, and who knows, they might just decide to give it. They look like they're trying to walk towards the point, but they're unsure because of where Magic Turtle and Widowfang are, that somebody will have a touch. They do end up getting it anyway, thanks to the Wraith.
Kitsune.
Oh my goodness! Stockton just exploded.
Whoa! The Kitsune and the Sojourn ult popped at once, and Idaho came in with an ult dump of their own and just deleted them.
Yeah, I am a little bit concerned about the ult's usage there because we just popped 3 in that fight. And honestly, they were kind of all necessary, but I think they would have won the fight had they just fought each other normally. But we're already immediately going into this next fight. Brawler finds 2, Widowfang finds 1, Sandman finds 1, Meat so finding 1 for his troubles in the end of that fight. And I mean, in an absolutely astonishing fashion, the Vandals are going to turn that series around for them, that map around.
They were looking down, but not out just yet. Down 2-0, putting 1 point on the board, keeping this set alive. What a game. Back and forth there in the start there, with Stockton getting the quick early map, then Idaho took it right back down and didn't let them take one more objective. And that last fight was, we've seen so many crazy fights break out already. This is only map 3.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, Stockton just exploded.
Yeah,
and I thought they'd have the ability to respond. I thought they had ults up. Obviously, they used that OC in response to the last fight, but they just could not do anything. No. They were completely defenseless in both situations. It was really funny to watch that break out. And with that map, it's going to put Vandals on the board now 2-1 in this series against Stockton over New York. Wonder what Stockton's like right now. Probably very dark.
We're going to run right into map 4 onto Runasapi. No more running for Lucio, though, as he was yoinked away, and so is Venture forced to bury back underground and hide in that casket till map a potential map 5.
Hopefully a map 5.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the Vandals progress through their playoff run, but it's going to take a lot of energy and a lot of focus It's like it's taking me a lot of energy and a lot of focus to stay up right now. I did not sleep well last night, but Monster Energy is keeping me wide awake through this entertaining stream. And that's how I'm able to bring you this awesome hype casting here from the caster room. Special thanks to Monster Energy for being a proud product sponsor of the Vandal esports program.
Absolutely.
And now I'm just patiently waiting. I saw the notepad come up. There it is.
There we
Okay.
go.
I was like, oh, surely the map is going to come up at some point now, right?
Here on to push.
Runasapi, I think one of the most beautiful maps in this game. Right behind Suravasa, actually.
Interesting.
Blue is
nice ones.
one of my favorite colors, and honestly, the way that they are used throughout this map is... Oh, I love it. I love this game's art direction. They do not fail.
No, they cook every time. Still waiting for that underwater map wizard, though.
Yep.
You've been telling us about that since Overwatch 1.
Let's bring back Atlantis. I remember when they had it, originally it was like a fan-built map.
Yeah.
With like no textures or anything. But it'd be funny to see that come alive as a real concept.
I love it.
Already moving very energetically into this first fight. Seeing the sim come out from Widowfang again, and Sandman almost losing to an Ashe that was right in front of him. He did remember how to aim in just the nick of time, though, and was able to get that win. Also did see the nade used from Ana very early on, so unfortunately that is going to be the end of their life. And LBN's taking a lot of damage while Brawler's still allowed to stay in form, which means there is no room for Stockton to breathe as the Vandals just push this bot along.
Yeah, Magic Turtle able to bust out the Wu Yang once again now that he can't play Lucio. Just take it on away. Vandals are getting a nice push onto this robot here, just about to the spawn point advantage, as Stockton is forced to kind of hide around the corner and wait to get their nice push in. Vandals do go ahead and get the advantage that they were looking for.
And now the Vandals are like kind of able to surround Stockton, right? You have LBN who kind of pushed into point. Sandman who
Took a nice little nap there.
Yeah, ill-mindedly TP'd in and got punished for it very fast. But even so, the Vandals were able to get half off that first push alone and don't really seem to be stopping anytime soon. This beam doing infinite damage onto LBN. And though this rush is coming out, what else do they have right now? It's going to be Widowfang falling to LBN. The Shatter up as well, but they don't need it. That's 2 now for the massive German with the hammer.
Very well placed Suzu to go ahead and give Stockton the confidence to rush on into this fight, pick up the eliminations they needed, send the robot running the right way for them. And he's here, ready to push. It's Idaho. It's going to come right back on in, try and stop it, pop the barrier up, whip that fire strike on accident. Can't say I've never done that.
Now that barrier's down, LBN could look for an opportunity for a pin and a shatter here. Doesn't look like it's coming out just yet. Means that Brawler gets to live for a little bit longer after being pretty low health. You do see Sandman in a very, very risky position. Somehow gets away with whatever was going on here. He's kind of just full W-keying into this backline here. TP in, and Maith gets all the damage in the world. That's a rail shot straight to the face, as well as a nade, which didn't have to be used. So maybe could be a fight loss coming in for Stockton, but so far, not really. They're just getting this bot moving along closer and closer to draw the cart progression.
Yeah, Brawler's ready to go ahead and contest it just a bit. Not let the robot move any further. He's going to pop Annihilation and run right into the back line. Getting shot from every which direction, and the Sojourn Bubble's going to go ahead and take him on out.
That is a curious push. They were like, oh yeah, they're in a lane. I can just pop this Annihilation, buddy. That is not Rampage. But it's fine. Magic Turtle is going to take out Maith pretty early. And OBN swinging at the Symmetra TP and killing Widowfang right out of it. Widowfang cannot catch a break from this Reinhardt. Been getting bullied from him all game, no matter what character he's on. You also see the Suzu come out pretty early from Meat because that take aim shot right into his torso.
Trying to go ahead and duke it on out with Reinhardt. Oh, Sandman coming in, finding the Death Blossom elimination onto OKB, but gonna get slept for his troubles. LBN sitting at 1 HP, forced to dive right back into the team, but Widowfang with the aggressive teleport runs on in as Magic Turtle finds one more. Tracking down this Reinhardt. sends him back away. Put that boombox down. It is no longer hammer time.
What a nice defense from the Vandals. I mean, they look so fast on this comp, which is crazy because they don't have that Lucio now. They have Magic Turtle running the Wu Yang, which has kind of forces them to be a little bit slower. You can move here and there when that Wu Yang bubble is up, as well as the rush, right? But in most of these fights, you don't just have an amp to let you dive in on something. You really have to be intentional with the dives that you're making, which, I mean, as you can see from Widowfang Symmetra, has been happening.
Yeah. Those pushes scare me, but they seem to work out for what he wants to get done.
Here the OC popped out by May, trying to get some damage to back the Vandals up just a bit. But it doesn't seem like the damage is significant enough. Sandman does get caught out in the backline, but he's going to survive. Meats, however, to the Rhine is not going to. You're seeing another big rush come out, a form, a bubble from the Wu Yang. But Vandals are not going to survive that. Not all of them, anyway.
No, the robot had no clue which way he was running that fight, but Idaho seems to have taken him swinging in their direction. Sandman caught in the backline, but Widowfang's going to finish the job onto both of these supports right out of spawn.
What a bad stagger for Stockton. That's so much free progress for the Vandals to walk on. So much free time to stabilize and work out their next fight plan. Stockton does have ults up, both of their support ults, the Rush and the Nano. Nano probably going to be thrown onto LBN to force him back, who's going to pin in maybe. That is the plan. I think that is literally the plan that I am calling. There's going to be a Nano, and I lied. The Rush came out first.
Started off with the Kitsune, letting LBN run on in, but Sandman's going to run back there and find Bird.
That's why that Nano didn't come out, because Sandman was back there. See, guys, I knew I had something going. It's really a coin flip. You did see the wall come out as well to stop Stockton from walking on the Vandals, who were one man down. But it didn't really stop them for that long, and Magic Turtle is going to be falling as the rest of the Vandals are forced to back up here.
Yeah, we got about 3:30 on the clock left. Idaho does have about double the distance pushed for their side of the barrier, as Stockton does reclaim control and get him back into the neutral position.
Do see Brawler holding down this corner pretty well. He has that Annihilation up once again. And once again, he wants to engage off of that. The idea to engage with the Annihilation is very curious. Usually you've seen it used for sustain for the tank. But it seems to have been working out, especially when you're playing against LBN, who seems to be a Rhine one trick because he has not swapped off Rhine the entire series except for one time that he played Ram.
No, I respect it though. Bring back Ryan Hart.
Sandman is going to take out Mafe in that strange engage that he had with the backline, though Fred is going to trade him out thanks to that Headhunter perk. Very, very scary, the kinds of damage Ana can do.
Yeah. Okay, 88 looking to go ahead and poke out Brawler just a bit. But Widowfang's here in the backline harassing him, letting the tank get back alive. Everyone's regrouping here right around the robot. No one's finding quite the push they want, but Stockton is going to reclaim him, sending him back away. This poor robot has to keep jogging back and forth.
Hey, he's getting some good cardio in, right?
Absolutely.
Now you saw the pulse try and come out, got some damage. Sandman's going to find two, and Brawler, despite basically being on a centimeter of his life, is not only going to survive, but find two once he gets the Wu Yang bubble and his form out. What a close call. And Mate's still back here for some reason. Sandman's just doing his job, marking the Tracer. It's a 4v4 right now here on the bot. And Stockton technically does have the advantage. The Nano comes out. This is the fight plan I said was going to happen like 2 fights ago. But he doesn't really pin out. Kind of just walks. The Nano is enough aura to scare Vandals away just to backing up. But apparently not enough. Sandman has the guts to get it done. That's going to be Curie down very early in the fight for Stockton. And though LBN finds a pin on the Sandman, he's immediately traded out by the Kiriko. That's going to be cart possession once again. 3 people on the cart. Magic Turtle dying. Meat dying. It's all up to Brawler to keep things alive on the point. He's forced in a 1v3 against Ana, Tracer, and Kiriko right now. And it doesn't look like he's going to live to see the day where he gets to push the cart on its own.
No, kind of hard to fight back when you're anti. Your opponents have Suzu, as well as extra damage rolling on in.
But
less than a minute remains.
they still have time to get that forward spawn to be able to regroup with their team and then start another fight plan. Obviously, we saw the Nano come out, and already Ferd is on pace to have another one in this OT. About 40 seconds left on the clock now, and still over double the distance. This guy just tried to 180 shatter and hit nothing. I didn't know we were seeing Derpy in my collegiate games. Ferd does kill Sandman, though. But even then, it doesn't look entirely out. It just means that Sandman's dead with Blossom. That was what I was trying to say.
Brawler and Ferd finding trades of their own, trying to keep this fight alive. As Brawler's going to go ahead and pop the form, try to pummel on through. Did not quite find what he was looking for. Everyone's all out of position. The Silver Bullet's going to take out Meat. Sandman trades with Getaway Car.
Yeah, there's no living that. And he gets the Wu Yang bubble. Boom, boom. Ana's dead. And though this nanoed Ryan is on his tail, it doesn't seem like that's enough for the Vandals to be too scared about it, right? He has to back up from Maeve. Does end up dying to that. And it's going to be forward spawn for Stockton. Finally a shatter that actually hits something. And it's immediately responded to with the Suzu. Enough sustain to kill LBN. And Widowfang is going to find Maeve caught with his pants down, as we like to say here on the stream, allowing the Vandals to go 2-2.
It's now or nothing
in the series. How beautiful. I can't believe I get to cast what could be a reverse sweep. Am I getting fake comebacks right now? Or do we get to see the Vandals keep their playoff dreams alive, really come back with this reverse sweep?
Either way, it's a hard-fought match coming in from both of these teams, wanting to keep this fight alive for their school and advance further into ECAC. Towards that final part of Glory, as map 5 is going to be on Havana. Ana wanted to take a nap herself, so she got sent away. And Symmetra teleported right back on home, so they will be not here for us on this map 5.
I feel like this might be the first or second time that we've seen Havana here on the stream.
Yeah, not very often.
Definitely a map that you don't see get a lot of playtime, but you also don't see a lot of our series go to a map 5.
No, not at all.
So
we don't see a lot of Escort in general. When was the last time? I don't even think we've seen a single. Oh my gosh, we haven't seen it in so long. I'm blanking on the name. Clash game.
Yeah. Because Clash hasn't been in the competitive pool for like a year now.
Oh, I knew that.
That's why.
Hey, quick play warrior till I die.
Now, something I want to note about Havana is that this is another map, kind of similar to Blizzard World, and a little bit Suravasa, that has long sight lines that are good for Widow.
Yes.
Havana especially. I feel like Havana used to be Widow's signature map. They did some changes so that she isn't as strong, but she still provides a lot of value, especially in the hands of OKB88, who we've seen go absolutely insane on the Widow in previous maps in the series. So it really just depends on how much they're able to do, like literally as I was talking about it, right?
This is the most clutch first pick Widowmaker player I have seen in these games. Already finding one, looking to go ahead and find one more. But everyone's running around. It's kind of hard to hit your shots when there's this much movement everywhere you see.
And you're getting some things off, but obviously with the Vandals just being picked off one by one and forced to give so much space up to Stockton, what are you really going to do, right?
Yeah.
You're going to try and keep the fight alive. You get the wall behind LBN, and the form out from Brawler is going to actually kill the Reinhardt despite the numbers disadvantage. That's going to be a fight win for the Vandals.
Yeah, Widowfang was doing real good on this Symmetra, and you take that away and you bring out the devil herself.
But instead of, oh my goodness, instead of the Widow, you have actually the better character now post Havana changes, and that's Hanzo.
Yeah.
I'm not happy to see Hanzo here, but I haven't really seen OKB88 play Hanzo yet, so maybe it'll be okay. Maybe he can't hit his shots. Maybe
I respect the Hanzo swap.
Oh, ew!
Double deke on the bird.
And the wall right behind LBN to stop them from moving forward. Obviously, you have OKB88 in a lethal position. It is going to be able to find Magic Turtle before being picked off. But, I mean, overall, that's still a very bad fight loss for Stockton. They're coming up on some ults here, 75 to that Shatter, and pretty close to the support ults as well. That's kind of where Stockton has their advantage over the Vandals in these next couple fights, right? If we see the engage off those support ults, the Vandals don't really have an answer to that, right? Meanwhile, we could see the Brawler try and open up a fight with Annihilation now that it's online, and they immediately have that beat to talk to, right? Except apparently they're not using it. We saw the Blizzard come out and not get used, and LBN is cut off from the rest of his team, and okay.
Dropped the Shatter, but no one was home.
That's actually a really bad fight from Stockton. I mean, that's great things for the Vandals, who are basically on pace for a full first area hold, but, I mean, the beat was up and not dropped, even though the Blizzard was up. They also have the rush as well. Obviously, the rush would have been harder to use in that situation, but with the beat, you could have lasted through the Blizzard and maybe use the rush later on in the fight to keep yourself alive. Just now, we're seeing LBN swap to that Ramatra.
Sandman's got something cooking up, though, ready to dive on in. Has the Beyblade ready to rip.
Ferd is down with beat again! What is my Lucio doing? Oh my god, the Dragons. And the beat. See, this is... See? This is what my Lucio is doing.
Oh my gosh, the triple kill!
Absolutely faultless from the Vandals onto Stockton. We saw a much stronger team come into these first couple maps, but now being put on the back foot for this series, having lost the last two, they have no idea what to do anymore. We could be seeing the Vandals force Stockton into a choke. The only thing that they have to use in this situation is the beat, which they are engaging with, but it doesn't even matter. Damage on the LBN. He's first dead again for the past 3 fights in a row. Ferd does find the Lucio diff.
70 meters, and that was it. Not even a first objective taken. Idaho's just got to walk their dog to take this up. But who knows? Stockton could pull this shenanigans of their own and hold them right down just as fast. If Idaho did it, who's to say Stockton can't?
What a shameful showing from Stockton. I mean, obviously, all respect due to how they've been performing in this series thus far. But you see the plays that this team has been running fight by fight again. Again, Ferd having beat up for 3 fights and deciding to go for a beat engage when they have no ults. And like, it's for nothing. It's for nothing. It's literally for nothing. And honestly, if I was a Stockton fan, if I was playing on Stockton right now, I'd be very upset with how my Lucio was playing. I cannot lie to you, Spirit.
Understandable. As a Lucio player myself, I see where you're coming from. I get it. But, I mean, Vandals also, that was just the first pick. They knew he had beat. Get him right off the map as soon as possible so he can't drop it.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, even again, it was just Choke City over and over again. I think that Blizzard play is one that I'm going to continue talking about just because of that situation. I think that was, you know, you look back at a fight and you see one decision so glaringly obvious that was made that cost you a fight. And maybe cost you the entire round. It certainly cost you the entire round for Stockton, who was just not able to come back from those mistakes. They had a couple other opportunities to respond with the beat, but, I mean, Ferd was under too much pressure from the Vandals to be able to use it.
Yeah. Now we're going to see him just swap off the Lucio this time around and roll out the Baptiste, which does give you a lot of more defensive advantages. You can hide that lamp to go ahead and keep your team up behind the walls and whatnot. But go ahead and wall him off himself with the Mei.
Forcing OKB88, or sorry, Mei actually, on the Ashe here onto a different angle. Just makes it a little bit harder to play this high ground here. Ashe, now very strong from her primary fire range, or not her primary, her ADS fire, the Viper. Range adjustment doing so much more damage from a little bit further now.
Love you too, Otter on front.
Mafe is doing the work on that Ashe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love to be competing right now. I'm so excited to watch finals and see Ashe in play again, but man, to be able to compete and have Ashe actually be a good character to run, oh my goodness.
Now you played Ashe for a while, didn't you?
I did. Oh, what a fun time that was.
Idaho's not really able to find this offensive push that they're looking for. It's every time they walk right up. Meef finds one. OKB88 finding another one. keeping them back in the spawn room, which is where they want.
It just means that they're going to have to control the space in a weird way, right? You already see Sandman trying to hold this inside room, wait for the rest of their team to be able to walk through the choke so they can actually touch Mafe, as I'd like to say. We're forcing the fade out of OKB88. That's going to be a right click up onto the high ground, but the rock does connect on the Sandman. He's trying to get the heal. He's getting nothing. He just has to wait, and OKB88 is going to be the one to find him. But maybe it doesn't matter. See the form coming out from Brawler, and with the help of Widowfang and Magic Turtle, Getaway Car is going to fall very early in the fight, but OKB88 has a couple kills to respond with.
Minute 45 on the board. It's coming down to the wire. Only about 30 more meters to go for the side of Idaho right now. Widowfang just deciding to go in deep, chase him right back down to the spawn room himself, and Magic Turtle's here for the support. They're not even going to let them touch the point. Get Brawler on up there, let him roll it through himself. Keep Stockton distracted. If that works, it works.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, the Flex character's doing what the Flex characters do best. Widowfang is back to engage with the fight now, and that Blossom is up. Or at least very close to being up for Sandman. Just has to make sure he does not fall too early in this fight. But with the window and the Bob on point, it's going to be another fight loss for the Vandals. But here's something I'm a little bit nervous about. Check that ult economy for me, Spirit. Tell me what you see.
I see Idaho with 2 ults ready, just about a third on Magic Turtle's beat, maybe even a fourth with Widowfang. And Brawler almost has one himself. And then Meef, all of them are in single digits on the ult charge. Besides, OKB88 does have the Beyblade ready to rip.
It does get them, does get the beat out very early, and a lot of damage on the Magic Turtle for their troubles. Having that Lucio out as soon as they did is pretty bad, but the 4 ults that Stockton had used in that last fight is absolutely devastating for their chances to continue this hold. It's going to take a massive choke on the side of the Vandals for them to lose this advantage that they have right now.
They got 20 seconds to prove it to us to see if they want to keep their playoff dreams alive. Brawler ready to run on in. Is going to get taken out right off the bat. Widowfang in the back on, go to pop the excavation. Finds one.
LBN has to die and dies.
Sandman gets another, trading it off with meat once again.
OKB88 does find meat, but Widowfang is not going to let his brethren die unpunished. That is a team kill.
Oh my gosh, overtime is ready.
Stockton.
Idaho's here, and there's nobody who can make this back in time. Sandman's going to go ahead and teleport ahead just in case to go ahead and flick. Running at the Tracer. Oh my gosh, 2 meters remaining. Idaho reverse sweeps this set.
What a last fight. I mean, again, what I was talking about before, you see these last-minute plays that you can see are such glaring, obvious mistakes from a team that absolutely butches their chances to keep a defense or an offense. And in this case of Stockton, that was that 4 ult fight that they had between the Bob and the Widow and the Blossom and the Flux. Or not the Blossom. Who else was there? I don't remember. And the basically 5 ults online, followed by the Vandals. There was no way that they were going to be able to stay alive long enough. And, you know, when you're forcing the Vandals with that kind of ult advantage into a situation where, like, okay, we're in overtime, we have to make something happen in order to get this fight win. Obviously, 4 ults versus nothing.
You want that.
You want that's. What do you think is going to happen, right? A very excellent display, excellent performance from the Vandals tonight. Stockton will be dropping out of the playoffs in their first round, which I'm sure they're happy about, or maybe not. I can't imagine what these players are going through after this last map, after being reverse sweeped. I know what it feels like, and it does not feel good. So maybe my condolences for Stockton. You know, I'll keep up the sportsmanship, but an absolute GG, well played to the Vandals, who will be moving into next week, round 2 against Trine University.
Are games next week, or are we taking a break for Thanksgiving?
Oh, well, taking a break for Thanksgiving. Well, I think so. I think we're taking a break for Thanksgiving, but I cannot say for certain.
Yeah, we are taking a break for Thanksgiving. That's what I thought.
But the week after next week, when we are back, we'll see the Vandals playing against Trine. That's both teams having an opportunity to get some extra practice in, extra vodding before moving deeper into their playoff run. But I'm sure the Vandals are on cloud nine, a mental high, if you will, after having taken this series being down. And again, earlier in the series wasn't weak. They weren't dead at any point, whatever. Even if they were losing maps, we saw Blizzard World go to a round 4. We saw Samoa go basically 99-99 every single point.
And around 3.
I mean,
every single objective, every single team fight, it was just back and forth. It was so competitive throughout all 5 of these games that we just witnessed. And my favorite part was either the perfectly balanced ult economies. Let's just combo our ults, use 1 or 2. No, I'm pressing Q, and everyone goes and presses Q at once. Like, it was just something to keep it on edge, and keep the energy up. What a game! What a game!
Absolutely, Spirit. I have to say this has to be one of my favorite games that I've casted.
It's probably mine. If I had to say, this is the second reverse sweep I've casted ever.
Really?
The first one was back when Super Snowman guy was still on the team.
Wow.
They did pull off a reverse sweep. So congratulations to this brand new roster pulling off one of their own.
Again, as I was saying at the beginning of the stream, they have had to grow and develop so much as players to be able to get to this point. And obviously, we're anticipating a better playoff showing than previous iterations of this roster, and they did not prove me wrong whatsoever. It did seem a little bit bleak. Obviously, you see that 2-0 on paper, and if you're a Gamba man like me, you're a little scared, but that payout's going to be big.
Speaking of that playoff run, I'm a little bit terrified now.
Yes.
Because a few weeks ago, I was on the podcast Vandals Offline. Go check that out on YouTube. Very great set coming in from all of what they do. But when I was on there, I said, if Idaho wins playoffs, I will shave my head. And I don't want to do that. But I might have to eat my words, and I would gladly do it if I had to.
Vandal Overwatch. Keep your ears open and keep your heads high. Obviously, there's no pressure, but a little bit of pressure going into this next round of playoffs. But I would like to see my roommate go for the Bleach Buzz.
The Bleach Buzz?
Yeah.
Oh, I got to match Fenrir. Oh,
yeah.
that'd be kind of cool.
2 Bleach guys in the studio would be a fun time to see. But at least for the game tonight, that is going to be it from us. A special thanks to all of you for joining us. If you haven't already, please do consider following. It's free. And if you hate us, you can turn off our notifications so you never have to catch another stream. We just like seeing that number go up. Also, if you're feeling generous or have a Prime sub lying around, why not use it on us? You get a free badge, or you get a fun badge next to your name to use in chat. You get some fun emotes as well. And you get to help support a collegiate grassroots esports community. I said that in the wrong order, but I still think that is pretty cool. Special thanks to our brand sponsors, Monster Energy and Ziply Fiber, for being proud sponsors of the Vandal Esports program. This is Kaz and Spirit signing off for tonight.
We'll catch you on in a few weeks.